Hi, I'm Brenda, and you're listening to the Little Kingdom Warriors podcast, where we help our kids discover God through play. Are you overwhelmed by the weight of your never-ending list of things to do, but desperately want to invest in your kids' faith life? Are you tired of the same old colouring sheets and seemingly lifeless Bible stories that you're even struggling to sound enthusiastic about? Well, I'm here to help. I'm a lover of all things creative, an ex-primary school teacher turned stay-at-home mum and follower of Jesus. Let's walk this path together and transform our kids' lives with new and exciting ways to explore the Bible and help them become God's little kingdom warriors. We might not have it all together, but with God, and maybe a strong coffee or two, we've got this. Hello, and welcome to Little Kingdom Warriors. I'm your host, Brenda. Today, I want to talk to you about 4 simple ways to disciple your child. So I think, and this I can speak very much for myself here, I feel like so often as mums, we overcomplicate everything. We think we've got to find the Pinterest-worthy ways to engage our kids in the Bible, and while that is fantastic and that is awesome, sometimes it's just not realistic. Sometimes we have a really packed schedule. Maybe we're overtired. If you're like me, you're overtired. Maybe you're in a season where you've got a young baby and it's just not practical to spend ages preparing activities. But I want to encourage you that there are simple ways that you can invest in your kids' faith life without it becoming completely overwhelming. So I think it really comes back to being a good disciple of Jesus yourself. So the first thing that I think we can do to disciple our kids is to try to make sure that we walk the talk. So, that's a challenge for myself, particularly when I'm behind a microphone and I'm trying to encourage others. I have to look at my own walk with God and the things that I'm trying to teach my kids. I am challenged myself. Am I doing the very things that I am wanting out of my kids? If I am asking them to be patient with their sibling, am I being patient with them? Not always. Am I being patient with my husband? Not always. So I feel like we need to challenge ourselves too in our own faith life. Are we doing what we want our kids to be doing? The other thing that I think is so important is that we demonstrate humility, and sometimes it seems counterintuitive. Don't we want to make our kids think that we are perfect and we've got it all together? But I think that humility is so important because it shows them that we need Jesus too. In 2 Corinthians 12:9 it says, "And he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness." How can we possibly expect our kids to think that they need Jesus if we're pretending to be perfect all of the time? From early on, kids put their parents on a pedestal. It's important that we show them our imperfections so they learn that they can also make mistakes, and even in doing that, they can accept God's grace and that they're still loved by God at the end of it all. If we're able to show that we are sorry for what we've done and to be humble and to admit our mistakes, they can see that we aren't perfect as well and we need God just as much as they need God. And I think that is such an important lesson to learn for them. We need to be quick to say sorry, and it helps them to realise that perfectionism is unattainable and we all need Jesus. The third thing we can do to disciple our kids is to demonstrate your love to your kids and to others. In John 13:35 it says, "By this everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another." So how practically can we do that? We might be able to do things for other people. Perhaps we can cook them a meal if they're going through a difficult patch. Perhaps we can help and show our kids how to be a good helper. Teach them from early on to look beyond their own needs. And I'm sure if you've got a toddler, you know that selfishness is inherently within them, and we've got to try and train them up to realise that there's more than just their own needs and to start to care about others as well. I like to think of my kids as little apprentices. They are looking and learning up to you. The more time they spend around you, the more they're going to pick up on your habits, whether that's good or bad. So a short story on that. Huey, my little boy, he has started calling my husband Babe. You'll be out in the garden, or my husband will be out in the garden, and Hugh will get up on the bed. Lily's bed is against the window, and he'll yell, "Oi, Babe!" Actually, no, it's probably more like, "Oi, Babe!" And do you know where he got that from? It was from me. So he's picked up on things I say, and he's picked up on things I do. And I think we need to be careful about what we are doing, because our kids are picking up on all these little things that we do. And whether that's good or bad or funny, they are picking up on what we do, and they're learning from us. The fourth thing we can do to disciple our kids is to be really intentional. In Deuteronomy 6 verses 6 to 7, it says, "These words I am commanding you today are to be upon your hearts, and you shall teach them diligently to your children, and speak of them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up." In a way, I actually find that verse quite reassuring, because it doesn't say make sure you're doing a beautiful Pinterest-inspired Bible play idea every single day. It's just talking about God. So kids love to talk. They love to ask you questions. I feel like I'm getting 1,001 questions a day. And some of the questions we get, it can be a great opportunity to be able to feed into their life and to talk to them about God when we're driving in the car, when we're looking out the window. What can we say about God? What can we talk to them about in the car? Can we mention about the trees and about the world and how God made all these things? We can be present to answer their questions, whether that be long, short, or strange. And sowing these little seeds, we'll start to see it bearing fruit in time. Perhaps you can also think about one time of the day where you focus on reading a Bible story or something with your kids. For us, it makes most sense at bedtime to try and slot in at least one Bible story, and to also teach our kids how to pray. So Lily's now at the age where she can pray herself. So in the beginning, I was kind of modeling how to pray and talking about what we pray for, and how we say sorry to God, and being thankful, and thinking about the needs of others as well, and just teaching them how to pray. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be complicated at all. So let's just recap quickly what we talked about today. So 4 simple ways to disciple your kids. To start off with, we walk the talk and try and, as much as possible, to be a good demonstration of a disciple of Jesus. Secondly, to demonstrate humility to our kids, which will show them that we all need Jesus. The third thing was to demonstrate your love to your kids and to others. And fourth, to be intentional with your time. All right, I hope that blessed you and encouraged you, and thanks so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you next week. Bye. Hey friends, if this podcast encouraged you or made an impact on you in some way, I would be so grateful if you could take a minute to leave a review to help other people find my show. Don't forget to click subscribe so you are the first to know when a new episode airs. Hop on over and join my free Little Kingdom Warriors Facebook community, which I will link for you in the show notes. Thanks so much for listening, and God bless. I'll see you next time.